Hi, I'd like to introduce Maestroflow, a system for composing reactive programs. Let's take a look at an example. Here I have several separate different Python programs that use the Maestroflow API. When they launch, they register themselves with the Maestroflow GUI and announce their type sources and sinks. When an event happens in a program, it is announced and sent to Maestroflow via an HTTP request. From there, Maestroflow will route the source to the appropriate sink. So in this example, I am going to take the text output from the first text editor and route it to the second text editor, and then take the output from the second text editor and send it to the histogram. And the color chooser will be used to select the text color for the second text editor. So now that I have the windows arranged, let's go into the Maestroflow GUI. So to create the sources and sinks, I click the appropriate links on the panel on the left. So let's create a source for the first text editor, and a sink for the second text editor, a sink for the second text editor's color, and we're going to create a source for our color picker. And let's get the source for the second text editor and the histogram output as well. And now I can simply connect the programs together by using directed edges. One thing to note is that the edges are typed, so you cannot hook a color source to a text sink. It just won't let you do that. So once I have selected the appropriate sources and sinks and hooked them together, I can go back to the programs, and they should basically update interactively. So if I choose the red text color, this will set the color for the second text editor. Then I start typing some stuff here. You can see that the data from the first text editor propagated to the second one, and then that went over to the histogram. So yeah, we can change the color again to like green or something, and you can see that the change got sent to the second text editor. Now let's take a look at one more feature, the transformer feature. So we can add a transformer by using this link here on the left, and this will create a transformer of unknown type. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this transformer between the text output from the first text editor and the sink from the second text editor. And let's give the transformer a name. I'm going to call it uppercaser. And its type here is text. And by default, it just returns this input, aka it does nothing. But what I'm going to do is call the toUpperCase JavaScript function. And now when I hook these text editors together again, you'll see that the events will be routed and the text will become uppercase. So let's take a look at that here. So yeah, you can see that the text editor in the second window is uppercase. Cool. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. I'm going to close that and refresh that, and I'm going to launch a simpler example. So this is another example, sort of the hello world example, where we have a first program that's going to just send text to the second program. So let's hook up the sources and the sinks here, and make the edge. And now when we write text in the first program, it'll get sent to the second program, like so. Okay, so let's take a look at the source code for that inside Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here is the code for the first, the input console program. So this is a Python program, and adding Maestroflow support to the program is pretty simple. Basically, I start out with creating an application object with my name of my application and path to the image. I define my source with a name and its type. And then when I receive some text, I notify that source that something happened and pass it the text. Yeah, so let's take a look at the second one. Same sort of thing, making an application just with a different name and the unicorn icon. Creating a sink this time instead of a source with the name and the type. And then I'm registering a callback handler. In this case, the handler is a print function, so the text will just get printed to the console. And then in my program loop, I have to call a pull function, and that is for the polling, basically just make sure that all the callback handlers are notified. So if you have syncs, you need to call this pull function every so often. So yeah, and then I just call it sleep and the program is done. Right. So that's everything. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in the project, check out the GitHub page. And yeah.